First of all, y'all asked me about template with superior only, so we finally got the shit. Second of all, just as always, I'm about to teach you all how to get this kind of sound, so without further ado, let's do the shit. Just as always, here we have simple ass double track. 2 guitars, pan 91% left and 89% right, both routed to guitars bus and that bus routed to master bus. Both of them shits has exactly same processing model, so we'll review only one of them. Using REVERB 4 for reamping, so let's look inside of the shit. TS808 pedal to add bit of high end and make guitars bit more tight and focused. $6505 amplifier with these settings. I also tweaked schematics to achieve better results by playing around with them tubes and resistors, but the shit is too big to review, so I'll put this preset at the additional files for this guide. You can see that cab section is bypassed and you'll already know what it means. Keyfair impulse loader loaded with custom PR impulse, which sounds rad from scratch. Check this shit. Already sounds pretty good even without post-processing, so I'll put this shit at the attachment too so you can get the shit. Right after we have NLS, which helps to make guitars bit fuller and fatter using console saturation shits. Both channels have sense to reverb. You can hear it pretty well when I stop playback. Speaking of guitars bus, we have Pro C and sidechain mode. Driven by kick and snare, compressor helps to free some space and center for extra short time. Using soft knee and opto mode helps to achieve tight and short ducking, and here comes main thing. Plugin works in mid-side mode, so I set it up to compress only mid part of stereo, side stays untouched, and that's why it sounds so transparent. You can't really hear level reduction because your brain focusing mostly on snare and kick at this short moment. Let me turn off out of kick and snare to show you a difference. And now with full stereo compression. Sounds like shit, same ducking in the middle of stereo, but ducking of side really fucks our shit up. After it we have this little ass EQ to get of unwanted boominess and rainy mids. we're gonna use Trillion for bass sampling. Hardcore finger pause on the shit full range samples here. Notice that all internal processing is bypassed, so amp section is bypassed too, and we only have direct signal with this amount, cause we're gonna process this shit externally, so let's go for it. First thing in chain is bass overdrive from TSC, which adds some drive and nice ass tone to bass. Bias based on GK 800 preset. Here's the settings. However, we don't use internal cabs, so here is Keyfire with another dope-ass impulse. You'll find it at the additional files as well. Black 76 for slight compression and saturation. Triggered mostly by outstanding lows, it helps to keep it more stable. NLS for bit of saturation. Pro Q to make bass bit brighter, and get of unwanted sub-lows, low mid-range muddiness, and couple of noisy frequencies on high mids and highs. Isotope exciter to saturate high mids and highs and make our bass even more bright and aggressive. Sidechain compressor driven by kick for short ducking and more transparent center, pretty much the same thing that we have on guitar bus. Also send to REVERB. We're gonna use Superior Drummer for the shit, so let's look inside of it. Metal Foundry library here. I'm gonna to click the shit out of the kit so you can check out names of used samples in this window. We're gonna process it externally, so there's no any kind of inserts and shit. We also using multi-out mode, which means that every mic or group of mix goes to its own outputs outside of Superior. This 3KD mix goes to kick channel, 4 snare mix goes to snare channel, hi-hat goes to its own channel. Booth overheads mix goes to overheads channel. And rest ambience mix goes to similar named channels outside of sampler. Just as always, I go nuts with setting up them bleed settings of each channel, but there's just too much of them shits to demonstrate, so you'll find this preset at the additional files. Few more words about routing outside of sampler. All of these channels are routed straight to master bus. Ambience for an ambience mono close routed to ambience bus, which also routed to master bus. So let's go for processing, starting from kick. First thing in chain is SSL channel with pretty extreme timbre shape and compression. Check this shit. And now we use EQ to get rid of outstanding sub-lows, high-end whistle, and also to make kick brighter with little ass boosts on high mids and highs. Sends to bass and guitar side chain compressors. And we also have send to reverb to put kick deeper in mix. Snare. First plugin in chain is EQ with complex timbre shape. Envelope shaper to get rid of ringy tail of snare. SSL compressor to focus short 10 milliseconds attack of snare. Last EQ deletes unwanted low end and rainy frequency on mids. send to sidechain compressor on guitar's bus and also send to reverb. Hi-hat. Cleaning EQ here to get rid of unwanted low-end bleed, boxy mids, high-end whistle, and fizzy presence. CLA 76 to squash hi-hat and make it little more stable in case of dynamics. And last EQ delete outstanding presence provided by previous compressor. NLS in Navo mode. Overheads. Processing model here is pretty simple. First thing in chain is CLA 76, which makes overheads fatter. Next EQ deletes unwanted low-end bleed, boxy mid-range zone, and make overheads brighter by wide and transparent high-end boost. Speaking of sends, there is send to big reverb, but you probably can't hear it. Before we'll go for ambience bus, notice that AM4 and AM mono close doesn't have any processing. So that's how it sounds. First thing in chain is SSL channel, which I use to uncover background information of room by applying tons of compression and saturation. Check this shit. EQ to get rid of couple unwanted frequencies. And mono far channel. We use this channel as ambience portion of kick and snare, so because of bleed setup, there is only kick and snare. First thing in chain is envelope shaper, which makes hits more tight and focus them a bit by deleting unwanted sustain. SSL channel with pretty much the same settings that on ambience bus. The only difference is that there is no high cut filter this time. And last thing in chain is this simple EQ, just to get rid of unwanted low-end content and clicky presence. Just as always, we use reverb bus and sends to it for space processing. That's how it sounds soloed. Here you can see settings of reverb. And right after we have simple EQ to get rid of ringy bleed on snare. This bus is routed to master bus, and before I'll finally go for it, take a look at them panning and level settings of mix one more time. First plugin in chain is NLS bus, which is emulation of analog summing shits, so mix gets solid doses of that warm analog feeling shits and swag joints. EQ to delete unwanted low-end, outstanding presence and midrangy boxiness. However, it's mostly for what we have next, and here comes most interesting shits. You know your boy like to use matching EQ for timbre correction. Like, let's be honest, I do that shit all the time. And I also love stereo correction as well. So last day I found myself chilling and doing some dope shit, but then some strange ass shit happened. Some dude just appeared in the middle of my shit and I was like, shit bro, the fuck man, what the fuck, who the fuck are you? And he was like, I'm the god of audio engineering shits. Matter of fact, I checked your channel and you kind of killing shit doing you shit, but hey, check me out. You should try this shit. What if I told you that you can use mid-side separation of your master and then do matching of mid and side of the mix separately, so this way you will get timbre correction and also very detailed stereo imaging, cause you know that the shit is all about difference between mid and side level, so you get regular ass timbre correction, but frequencies also spread it up in stereo so you also get stereo correction. You probably gonna tell your people bit more about that shit and then he disappeared and he also stole my bike. That's fucked up, but anyways, that's how I did the shit. Turned off output of master, created 2 FX buses, one for mid and one for side. And then I simply created equal sends to each one of them from master, so shit splits in real time. Both of them channels has Pro Q where I used mid-side panning option. When you activate mid-side mode, pan controller becomes mid-side as well, so mid-channel panned all the way to the mid, and side, all the way to the side. Here is both matching EQ settings. Just as always, you'll find them in the additional files. You can notice overboosted highs here, so that's why I applied them low cut filters on both of EQs. And now both channels sums back by routing to limiter bus. Here we have simple bus compressor with about 1 dB of reduction, just to make lute things up a bit. Next, EQ allows us to get that old school vintage sound by smoothing up highs a bit. And final thing in chain is our all-time limiter. Transparent mode and -0.3 dB on output. So that's how we do the shit. For those of you who want to get additional files pack, which includes Cubase template, pack of mix-ready impulses used in this guide, pack of matching sessions for Isotope Ozone 5 EQ, REVERB 4th preset, pack of Pro Q presets, and Superior Drummer preset. You will find all of them shits in my private post on Patreon, which will be available after pledging $1. By doing this you will also get access for rest of my private content and help me keep doing what I do. Link is in the description. Hope you learned thing or two from this guide. See you next time.